Hello, bonjour, здравствуйте, салем, annyeonghaseyo, marhaban, sasrikal, and ni hao to all my listeners on this channel. There's so many different people in this world, and it's just nice to say hi to everyone in as many languages as possible.
In this video, we're going to learn about how to write about a graph in IELTS Writing Task 1. Let's look at the question. Here, look at what the graph is trying to show you. We can see the instruction at the top that we have to spend 20 minutes on this. This is also an indication as to why one must not spend too much time on task 1. Then, there are 2 lines about the graph. Here, the question asks us to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. We'll talk about each of these things later. But for now, let's focus on the graph. So, in this graph, we can see that it is about production and consumption of energy. And in which place is it happening? In Canada. In which time period is this graph about? From 1950 to 2000. But wait, there's more. There are also some projections from the year 2000 till the year 2025. What do these 2 lines show? Sometimes people call these as trends. It shows energy consumption and one shows energy production in Canada. Look at the x-axis, and that is the vertical axis. This is in energy units or BTU. The y-axis or horizontal axis is in years: 1950, 1975, 2000, and 2025. There is also a legend down below. It says 1 unit equals 1 quadrillion BTUs. So now we have seen all the information about the question. So let's move on to talk about planning our writing. Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. So a good plan is important to help us write a good essay and stay focused. If you're still here, that's good. There's some good stuff coming. The IELTS Writing Part 1 has 3 parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Let's look at these 2 lines. These 2 lines are the main information we need to write down the introduction. The introduction is a paraphrase of what information is in the question. The word paraphrase means to change the words, but the meaning is the same. For example, this will be the introduction. The graph below shows how much energy is produced and consumed in Canada in the period of 1950 to 2000. It also shows predictions until the year 2025. Here, we change the word production to produced and the word consumption to consumed. There are no better words that we could use, so we change the tense. This is also possible, but change the tense as a last option. Otherwise, try to use alternative words. For the second sentence, we can change the word predictions to projections. We could also use the word estimates. So, here's the new introduction. The graph below shows how much energy is produced and consumed in Canada in the period of 1950 to 2000. It also shows projections until the year 2025. Voila, the introduction is now complete. Now, let's look at how to write the body. There are a few ways how we can write the body for this writing task 1 essay. The question says, select and report the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So this is what we're going to do. We also have to organize the information so it does not confuse the reader. We also cannot list all the information. For example, in first place we have consumption increasing, then in second place it is energy production. This is incorrect. We can organize the information, for example, in this way. Body, paragraph 2, energy consumption. Paragraph 3, energy production. It's a good idea, but it would be difficult to make comparisons here. For instance, we'd only be listing the data in each paragraph without any comparisons between energy production and consumption in Canada. And that's not a good thing. So this idea won't work. One other way we can organize the data in paragraphs is by time. Look at the y-axis. So we could do it this way. Body, paragraph 2, 1950 to 1975. Paragraph 3, 1975 to 2000. Paragraph 4, 2000 to 2025. You can also do it this way. Body, paragraph 2, 1950 to 2000. Paragraph 3, 2000 to 2025. Problem with paragraph 2 will be that it might be a big paragraph. Paragraph 3 will have to be a separate paragraph because the data is in the future. So let's keep it simple. Let's stick to the second idea. We will have nice, equal paragraphs that way. If you have other ways to organize this paragraph, remember to write about it in the comment section below. We have our plan ready. Now let's talk about paragraph 2. What do you think is happening here in this part? Canadian energy consumption is increasing steadily. Canadian energy production also seems to be increasing steadily. There's some minor fluctuations at the start, and that's about it really. So a quick summary here on how to write this paragraph is 1. To talk about the date. Number 2. What's the main event happening? Number 3. Make comparison between the trends. And number 4. Report the data. So our paragraph would be like this. Between 1950 to 1975, the amount of energy produced in Canada increased steadily from 25 to 65 units. Also, the amount of energy consumed in Canada went up steadily from 25 to 65 units. I think we can make this better. Between 1950 to 1975, the amount of energy produced and consumed in Canada increased steadily from approximately 25 to about 65 units. There were some minor fluctuations at the start of the time period. Here, we combined both sentences. We added some new words to give it more meaning. We talked about the date, which is very important, and most importantly, we mentioned the data, the units, 25, 65, and so on. It is okay to report data approximately, but remember to use the words to show it. One more thing. 2 lines seem like a small paragraph, but that's okay in writing part 1 or writing task 1. Paragraphs are much bigger in writing task 2. Let's move on to paragraph 3. And we'll follow the same style here. talk about the date, what's the main event happening, make comparisons, and report the data. From 1975 to 2000, consumption rose dramatically from 65 to about 95 units, whereas energy production remained slow, only rising from 65 to 70 units. The difference in energy production and consumption is compensated by energy imports. It's important to talk about the imports, as because Canada cannot consume more energy, i.e. 95 units, and produce less energy, only 70 units. That's simply not possible. You can't consume more and produce less. So there's a difference of 25 units. So that's why it's important to mention it here. And it's also mentioned in the graph. That's the end of the third paragraph. Well done, everybody. Just a small tip. The fourth paragraph is about predictions, so we will have to use the future tense here. Let's follow the same style. Talk about the date, what's the main event happening, make comparisons, and report the data. Finally, based on projections from 1950 to 1975, energy consumption would rocket to nearly 125 units, whilst on the other hand, energy production will only increase slightly to 85 units. This probably means more energy will have to be imported in the future. So, in this paragraph, we talked about the date, the main event happening, we made comparisons, and we reported the data. Well done. The last line talks about what might happen. Remember to not use information from outside the graph. For example, it would be incorrect to say Canada is going to import energy from the US. That's not true because that information is not there. And that's the end of the fourth paragraph. Let's quickly write the conclusion. The conclusion is a summary of what happened. So, what happened here? Canadian energy production and consumption increased, and it seems it's going to keep increasing in future. So, that's what we'll say. Overall, energy production and consumption in Canada went up in general, and it looks like it is almost most certainly going to go up in the future. And that's the end of the writing task 1. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hit like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want more content. Bye for now.